Hi stamping friends, it's Jackie Bolhuis from Klompen Stampers. I have a fun fold for you today. It's easy, but it has a ton of parts and pieces. Now, as I make the card, I'm not going to share all the measurements because, to be honest, I don't even remember what they are. But there is a corresponding blog post, and the link is down in the video description to take you over there. And over there, I will list all the measurements of all the pieces. I'm trying to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh gosh, there is 7, 8, over 15 pieces maybe, but don't let that scare you. I promise this card is super easy and I think you're gonna love it. Now I think it might be called something like a W fold. Someone told me that once. I am not all into these like official names of fun folds. I see an idea, I figure out how to make it, and in my head it's just a fun fold, so I'm calling it that. We are going to use the In Symmetry stamp set, which is perfect because it has tons of parts and pieces. So if we're going to stamp lots of parts and pieces, we might as well use a stamp set full of parts and pieces. So anyhow, I can't wait to share this fun fold with you. And then after we make the one that I'm making, I have a couple other ones to share with you so you can see some other ideas. Because just like everything I share with you, I want it to be so that you can use any stamps, paper, and ink. You know, don't get so wrapped up in you have to use the exact same stamps I have, because I bet you could recreate this card using products you have. But if you love what I'm using, you can hop over to my website and I'll have the list of all my products, the colors, the ink pads, all the tools I use. And over there, you can place a Stampin' Up! Order to get any of these products. But before you do that, make sure you check out my rewards program, because when you shop with me, you can earn points towards a free stamp set. And we all love free stamp sets, right? Okay, that's enough of that stuff. We're here to stamp, right? Let me go ahead, flip the camera down, and let's get to work on this many pieces of a fun fold card. Hang on one sec. So here's a peek at that stamp set, and I think we're going to use almost every piece in it. You know, I thought that was fun. Lots of parts and pieces of cardstock, and we'll use lots of parts and pieces of our stamp set. So we're going to use just 4 ink pads: Granny Apple Green, Highland Heather, and Melon Mambo, and then some black, because we always have to use black. And I am going to start, I just have 4 little pieces here. I think these are 2 by 2 squares. And we're going to start by stamping these, because I thought the best way to show you this card was actually just to do all of the stamping first. The stamping is like super simple. And then after we've done that, we can put it together. So let's just use lots of parts and pieces here to stamp our 4 squares that we have. Now you'll notice I'm kind of stamping and getting a couple different shades in there. So there's our first one. You are perfectly unique. I don't know if that's still in the camera or not. And then let's grab another one. You know, one of the fun things about this stamp set is there are quite a few different greetings in it, and you really can combine them all on a card. They all kind of go together for a great little message. Now this one, we're going to keep most of this blank because that's where we can sign our name. This is one of those cards, if you don't want to write a lot, it's perfect because that's all the room you're going to have. Okay, then let's take this one and let's move on to one of the flowers in there. And then we'll just take, like I said, all of these stamps, I do have the luxury of having a lot of clear blocks. So I was able to put everything on some blocks before I started. Otherwise, we'd be cleaning and taking stuff on and off forever here. Okay, there's one of those. And then one more. Like I said, we got 4 squares here as kind of, we'll call this the first stage of our stamping. So let's do that. And then someplace here we have a stem. There's just, I like the kind of big boldness of these stamps. Now, this size leaf, there's actually 2 different ones, and they kind of curve off different ways. So I like to use both of them so they look a little bit different in proportion. So there's those 4 pieces. So let's just set these up here. Now, those are actually going to go on the inside. So for the outside, we have another piece here. And let's start this one with our greeting. I want to make sure I can get everything to fit how I want it. So the greeting is going to go way down at the bottom there. And then we're going to use, let's see, get that pad out of the way, this big flower. So there's, I think, 3 different of these, like a great big one, and then 2 medium ones and a couple little ones. So there's our big one. Love that in Melon Mambo. Look at how bold and pink that is. And then same stem. There's only 1 stem. And then there's 2 different sizes of this, I call it double leaf stamp. So we can stamp those down at the bottom, and then we'll take the smaller set and move, let's go about right there, like so. Okay, you know what? I think we have all the stamping done. Now the fun part of putting all these pieces together. So let me just clean this up so we don't get anything in the ink, and then we'll put it together. Hang on 1 second here. Okay, I think we have all our paper parts and pieces here. So let's go ahead and start putting it together. We're going to start here. This is a 1 by 11 inch piece of cardstock, and I already did the scoring on this. So it is scored at 2 3/4, or 2 3/4, 5 1/2, and what else? 8 1/4. So again, don't worry about those because those will be over on the website along with the sizes of all the pieces. So there is this little piece, and I just folded it. And now let's take all of our squares that we made, and then I have black to layer each one of these on. So easy peasy. Remember, there is nothing hard about this card. I can't wait to hear that you use this idea and make one of these fun fold cards yourself, because they are super, super fun. If you do, make sure you leave me a comment and let me know what you thought of it and if I was right, that it was easy, because I think this is one of those cards that if you see it, it's a little bit intimidating because you think, ooh, I'm not so sure I could do that. But I know you can. Anybody, whether you're brand new beginner card maker or have been stamping forever, this is a pretty simple card. Okay, here is our card base. So we've got the Melon Mambo here, and then I just have a couple of pieces here, pulling out the colors of the cardstock for the same color ink. So we're going to build the front of this card. Now, the front of this card is actually one that I shared for a stamping challenge at our Creative 8 retreat. So if you've ever attended the Creative 8 retreat, we do 4 stamping challenges at the beginning of it. And this was, I called it a simple stamping challenge, and I gave this layout. And the challenge was to use my layout to make a simple stamped card. So what you're seeing me make right here is the exact same card that I made for that. So all those parts and pieces are going to be something extra that we're adding to this simply stamped card, even though we're keeping it still simple stamped. But I really liked how the front of it turned out, so I thought I would bring that back for this fun fold. Now, before we finish this up, I want to show you, this was the card I made for that challenge. So I've got just the stamping on the inside, but we're going to take it 1 step further. So let's finish up and make this pretty. I love, especially when something is stamped so simple like that, if you can just add like a little bow or a few dimensionals. So I've got our black and white gingham, one of my favorite ribbons, but I just absolutely love a pop of black on things I do. And then let's take some of the matte dots. So I think these just add that little extra touch. And when I use embellishments like this, I like to use 3. It's just odd numbers tend to work better. So we're just going to put 3 little black dots. So there's our card. We could stop right there. But let's finish up the inside so that we can consider this our fun fold. So I've got Granny Apple Green Designer Series paper. We're going to put 1 up on the top. Okay, let's just adhere that down good. This is just from the Brights collection. So I use this paper a lot because the collections come in all the colors that are part of that collection. So we've got our Granny Apple Green because we use Granny Apple Green ink and Granny Apple Green for our cardstock. And now this piece is going to go ahead and go on the inside. And we're going to stretch it right down the middle. But the key here is we only want adhesive on this top panel and bottom panel. You know, you can see the It's like 4 different panels here. So what I'm going to do is fold this kind of back up to be careful here, and we'll put some adhesive on this one. This will be our top, and then I'm just going to eyeball center it, okay? Doesn't have to be perfect, and line it up right on the edge. This is what I like about this, the liquid adhesive. I can kind of slide it around to get it where I want it. And now this bottom panel is going to go to the bottom. So we'll just close it up and then bring it down. And this is really going to just kind of stretch out. Try to get it somewhat straight there, adhere that. And now you can see when I fold my card, that should all fit inside. So you can't really see it. Now, here's the fun part. We're going to go ahead, open that up, and then I am going to use dimensionals on a couple of these. And let's see, we want one up there. Now with this, I'm going to just put my dimensionals in the center. Well, I guess the top one, it wouldn't really matter. And we're going to center that on this little panel, okay? And then down here in the third one, this is where I want to make sure those dimensionals are only in the beginning, because remember, this isn't attached. And so we don't want to stick it down because we want it to be able to move. And then, let's see, let's put these flat. We don't have to have dimensionals on all of them, so we'll get a few different layers or dimensions going here. So center that one. And again, with this, oop, that slid a little bit. Make sure that adhesive is only in the middle so it doesn't stick down. And again, this wouldn't matter because that one is stuck down. And we can put that right there. So now you can see our card. It starts out like this. And then when we open it up, look at how that pops out. Isn't that fun? And here we got a little bit of room to go ahead and sign our name. So there is our fun fold card. Was I right? Was it simple? It really wasn't hard, but there was a lot of layers because we got 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 different layers, but they were simple measurements to cut. And again, all those measurements are going to be on the blog post. So just use the link to go over there and you can create this yourself. Now let me share the other ones. We'll bring this one back here again, and you can see where I made the front the same way. I just didn't want to do that fun fold on the inside, so I just used a few of the stamps to stamp the inside. Now here are 2 other ones. I will have pictures of these over on the website as well. I won't have the measurements because they're basically the same and you can figure this out. The scoring's the same, but I'll list the supplies I use. But there you go, we got the puffins, I think they're called, on the inside. And you know, when you go to make a card like this, these pieces on the inside, it doesn't matter what size they are. You can see how I varied them here depending on the images I wanted to use. You just need to make sure they, you know, fit in the panel and aren't bigger than the card. So there is that one. And then this is my other favorite one. Okay, both these are happy birthday. But then on the inside, today's plan, consume coffee, cocktails, and chocolate, and be awesome. So here you can see, these are all the same size, but I kind of staggered how I put them on there. So that really just shows you how the basic idea of this card, and these go this way, and this goes up and down. But the idea is exactly the same. You know, the key is in that strip in the middle that was scored at, let's check our measurements here, 2 3/4, 5 1/2, and 8 1/4. And then you can put whatever you want on those panels. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you try this card. Don't be intimidated by it. It is really simple, just lots of parts and pieces. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions or if we can help you in any way. And I look forward to stamping with you again real soon. Have a stamp happy day.